The candles on my brother's birthday cake are still flickering when he says it. We're all crowded around the dining table at my parents' house: my brother Derek, his wife Pamela, their 2 kids, my mom, my dad, and me. I've just finished cutting the cake and sliding the first piece toward Derek when my dad leans back in his chair, crosses his arms, and says, loudly enough for everyone to hear, "You know what your problem is, Maya? You only ever think about yourself. You've never once put this family first." The room goes quiet except for the sound of my nephew scraping frosting off his plate. I set the cake knife down. I don't say anything. I look at my dad, then at Derek, who is staring at his cake like he suddenly finds it very interesting. Pamela reaches over and pats Derek's arm. Nobody looks at me. "Dad," my mom starts. "No, I mean it," he says. "We needed you last month for the move and you said you were too busy. Derek and Pamela needed help with the kids and you couldn't be bothered. You show up here tonight with a store-bought cake, and you think that's enough. You've never sacrificed anything for this family. Not one thing." I smile. Not a real smile. The kind you make when your face doesn't know what else to do. "Happy birthday, Derek," I say. Then I pick up my purse, walk to the front door, and drive home. I don't cry in the car. I've cried about this before, plenty of times, in plenty of parking lots, and empty apartments, and once in a Walgreens bathroom at 11 at night, when I'd just gotten off a 12-hour shift, and my phone was full of texts, asking when I was going to transfer money for the electric bill. I've used up a lot of tears on this family. Tonight I feel something different, something quieter and colder and much more certain. I sit in my car in front of my apartment building for a long time. I open my banking app. I go to the recurring transfers section and I scroll through the list, $850 every month to Derek and Pamela's joint account. I started that 2 years ago when Pamela had the baby, and Derek said he needed help covering expenses while she was on unpaid leave. Pamela went back to work 14 months ago. The transfer never stopped, $400 every month to my parents. My dad told me 3 years ago that the property taxes had gone up and they were struggling to cover it. I said I'd help temporarily. The word temporarily never came up again. $200 a month to my brother's Venmo. Just until I get back on my feet, Derek said 18 months ago after he switched jobs. He got back on his feet about a year ago. He just bought a new gaming setup for the living room. I saw it in the background of a video call. That's $1,450 a month. Every month. For years. I don't cancel anything yet. I just sit there looking at the numbers. Then I go inside, make myself a cup of tea, and go to bed. I don't sleep much. By the time my alarm goes off at 6 in the morning, I've already made up my mind. I'm not angry. That's the thing I keep turning over as I get dressed and make coffee and stand by my kitchen window watching the street below. I expected to be angry. Instead, I feel like someone who has been standing in a cold wind for so long they stopped noticing it, and then the wind stopped, and the silence is so loud it's almost hard to breathe. At 7:14 inches the morning, before I leave for work, I open my banking app again. I cancel the recurring transfer to Derek and Pamela's account. I cancel the one to my parents. I cancel the Venmo autopay. My thumb hovers over the confirmation button on the last one, and then I press it and put my phone in my bag and walk out the door. The subway is crowded. Someone's music leaks out of their headphones. A woman across from me is reading a paperback with a cracked spine. I watch the tunnel lights flicker past the windows and think about how, for the first time in 3 years, this month's paycheck will actually be mine. I don't tell anyone what I've done. I go to work. I eat lunch at my desk. I come home. I cook dinner, actually cook it. Pasta with garlic and olive oil, something I used to make all the time before I started feeling too tired to do anything except order delivery. I eat at my own table without my phone in my hand. That night, I look at my lease. It ends in 6 weeks. I've been in this apartment for 2 years, and it's fine, it's clean, and it's mine, and it's close to the subway, but I've always thought about moving somewhere with more light. There's a place I looked at 8 months ago that I talked myself out of because the rent was $300 more a month and I told myself I couldn't afford it. I pull up the listing. There's a unit on the 4th floor with east-facing windows and a kitchen with actual counter space. I schedule a viewing for Thursday. The first text comes on day 3. It's from Pamela. "Hey, just checking in, we're not seeing the transfer this month. Everything okay on your end?" I read it. I put my phone face down on the coffee table. I watch the rest of the documentary I've been meaning to finish for 2 weeks. On day 4, Derek calls. I let it go to voicemail. He doesn't leave one. On day 5, my mom texts, "Maya, your father is asking about the bank transfer. Can you call?" I text back, "I'll call soon. Hope you're well." On day 6, My dad calls. I don't pick up. He leaves a voicemail that's 43 seconds long. I know because I can see the length before I play it. I don't play it. I tour the apartment on Thursday. The unit is bigger than I expected. The east-facing windows catch the morning light and spread it across the hardwood floor in long gold rectangles. The kitchen has a window above the sink that looks out over a courtyard where someone has planted tomatoes in big clay pots. The property manager tells me the unit is available in 5 weeks. I put down a holding deposit before I leave the building. On day 9, I'm in the middle of a grocery run when my phone starts ringing. It's Derek. I'm standing in the produce section holding a bunch of cilantro and I answer because I'm tired of the specific anxiety of waiting. Hey, I say. Hey. His voice is careful. So, we didn't get the transfer. I know. A pause. Is there a problem with your account or something? Nah. Another pause, longer this time. So, are you not sending it? Not this month, I say. Or going forward? No. Maya. His voice changes. We depend on that money. You know that. We have the kids, we have the mortgage. You've had jobs, I say. Both of you for over a year. Pamela's been back at work for 14 months. Things are tight. Things are tight for me too, Derek. You don't have kids. You don't have a mortgage. You have no idea. I paid for your groceries last Christmas, I say. Still standing in the produce section. Still holding the cilantro. I covered your car insurance in March because you said you were short. I transferred money for Lily's birthday party because you asked, and I have been sending $850 a month to your account for 2 years. I've given this family a lot. I think you know that. Silence. Dad said. I know what Dad said. More silence. So that's it? Derek says. You're just done? I'm just done, I say. I put the cilantro in my basket and move to the next aisle. That night my dad calls 3 times. On the 4th attempt I answer. He doesn't say hello. What is going on? Your brother tells me you've stopped the payments. Your mother and I depend on that money, Maya. You know that. I know you've been depending on it, I say. That's actually part of the problem. Don't get smart with me. We have bills. The property tax. Dad, I've been covering your property tax for 3 years. You also redid the back patio last summer. You got a new car in the fall. I don't actually think the money is the problem here. This family has given you everything. You gave me what parents are supposed to give their child, I say. My voice is very calm. I'm a little surprised by how calm it is. That's not a debt I owe you forever. I've been happy to help. But happy to help is different from being required to fund your life, while you tell me at my brother's birthday dinner that I've never sacrificed anything for this family. Silence. That dinner was— I know what you said, Dad. I was there. He doesn't say anything for a moment. Then, so this is how you treat your family. This is how I'm treating myself, I say. Good night. I hang up. I sit on my couch in the quiet of my apartment, and I feel my hands shaking slightly, and I let them shake for a minute, and then I make chamomile tea, and I drink it by the window, watching the street below, and at some point, the shaking stops. My mom texts the next morning. Maya, please call me. Your father is very upset. We don't know how we're going to manage. I text back. I love you. I need some space right now. I'll reach out when I'm ready. She doesn't respond. Pamela sends a longer message 3 days later. It starts with, I don't want to get in the middle of this, and then gets very firmly in the middle of it. She tells me that what I'm doing is cruel, and that the kids don't understand why they haven't seen me. She tells me that Derek is stressed. She tells me that family means showing up, not disappearing when things get hard. I read the message twice. Then I put my phone in my bag and go to my yoga class, which I've been paying for 6 months, and attending approximately never. And I spend an hour doing things with my body that are uncomfortable in a clean, useful way, and I walk home in the evening air feeling something I haven't felt in a very long time. On the 14th day, Derek texts. Dad says the mortgage payment bounced. Do you know anything about that? I stare at the text for a long moment. Then I write back. That's not my mortgage, Derek. He doesn't reply. I find out later through my aunt, who calls me on a Sunday afternoon in the careful, curious way of someone who has heard one side of a story and wants the other, that my dad missed 2 mortgage payments. Not because of what I stopped sending. Because apparently there was a second credit card my parents had been running up for over a year, using my transfers to pay the minimum while spending freely on other things. Without my $400 a month acting as a pressure valve, the whole system started to crack. My aunt is gentle about it. She says she's not judging. She asks if I'm okay. I'm okay, I say. I'm actually really okay. She's quiet for a moment. You know your dad loves you. I know, I say. That's not really what this is about. What is it about? I think about that for a second. He stood up at Derek's birthday dinner and told an entire table of people that I've never sacrificed anything for this family. And I looked around that table and nobody said a word. Not Derek. Not Pamela. Not Mom. Nobody. I pause. I've been making myself smaller and smaller trying to be what this family needs, and it was never going to be enough. I finally believe that now. My aunt is quiet for a long time. I'm sorry, she says finally. You deserved better than that. I did, I say. I'm starting to act like it. The moving company comes on a Saturday. Two guys named Brandon and Marcus who work quickly and don't ask questions and listen to country music through a Bluetooth speaker, balanced on the edge of my kitchen counter while they box up my life. I packed most of it myself over the past 2 weeks, the books and the kitchen things and the box of photos I keep meaning to put in actual frames. My apartment empties out in pieces, and by noon it's just floor and walls, and the specific melancholy of a place that's been lived in and is being left. I stand in the empty living room for a minute. I think about the nights I sat on the couch with my laptop answering my mom's questions about why I hadn't called, or trying to figure out how to make my paycheck stretch one more week because I'd just transferred money I didn't really have. I think about the Sunday morning I sat at my kitchen table and cried for an hour because I'd just gotten off the phone with Derek and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong, why no matter how much I gave it was never enough, why I kept waking up exhausted. I turn off the light and lock the door and I don't look back. The new apartment is on the 4th floor. The moving guys bring everything up the stairs and I tip them well because they earned it. And then I'm alone in my new place with boxes stacked against the walls and afternoon light coming through the east-facing windows and falling in wide rectangles across the floor. I don't unpack everything that day. I unpack the kitchen because a kitchen feels like a signal this is a place I'm going to cook, a place I'm going to stay, a place that's mine. I unpack my books because books are how I know a room is a home. I make up the bed. I hang one thing on the wall, a small print I bought at a street market 2 years ago and never found the right place for. A night sky. Stars over a dark water. I order Thai food and eat it at my kitchen table, with my new window open, and the sound of the street below, and the early summer air moving through the room. My phone has been quiet for 5 days. The last message from my family was a text from my mom saying she hoped I was okay. I haven't responded yet. I'm not ready. But for the first time in as long as I can remember, the silence doesn't feel like something I did wrong. It feels like something I chose. 2 weeks after the move, I'm walking home from the subway on a Tuesday evening when my phone rings. It's Derek. I stop on the sidewalk and look at his name on the screen and I answer. Hey, he says. Hey. So? He exhales. Things have been kind of a mess. I heard. Dad's really stressed about the mortgage situation. And Pamela, he stops. It's been a lot. I wait. I've been thinking about what you said, he says finally. On the phone. At the grocery store. About everything you've done. A long pause. I think I knew. I think we all knew, and it was just easier not to talk about it. I stand on the sidewalk while a woman walks past me with a stroller, and 2 pigeons fight over something near the curb. Yeah, I say. I think that's right. I'm sorry, he says. I'm sorry I didn't say anything at dinner. I should have. I close my eyes for a second. You should have. I know. Another pause. I don't know. Can we talk sometime? In person? Yeah, I say. Not yet. But yes, okay. He sounds relieved and sad at the same time. Okay, Derek, I sigh. Yeah? I love you. That's not going away. But I can't keep carrying everyone. I'm not able to do that anymore. I know, he says quietly. I think we need to figure out how to stop needing you two. I think so too. We hang up. I stand on the sidewalk for another minute. Somewhere down the block someone is grilling something, and the smell drifts over, warm and good. The evening light is doing something beautiful to the tops of the buildings. I put my phone in my pocket and I keep walking. That night, I sit on my floor. I still don't have a couch. I've been meaning to go to the furniture store. I keep not quite getting there with my back against the wall and the windows open and the city humming its ordinary hum outside. I think about all the versions of this night I almost didn't get to have. The years I spent making myself responsible for everyone else's stability. The dinner where my dad looked at me and said I'd never given anything. I think about how many times I almost said something and didn't. How long I waited for someone to notice, to say thank you, to say we see you. This isn't fair. How I kept adjusting and shrinking and sending the transfers and telling myself it was fine. It was family. This is what you do. I think about the moment I set the cake knife down and walked out the door, and how it didn't feel brave then. It just felt like the only thing I knew how to do. It feels brave now. I open my laptop and I start making a list. Not of things I owe anyone. A different kind of list. The trip to Portugal I've been talking about for 3 years. The pottery class I saved a link to and then told myself I couldn't afford. The savings account I've been meaning to actually build. The therapist I've been putting off calling because there was always something more urgent. Always someone who needed the money or the time or the version of me that had something left to give. The list gets longer. I keep writing. Outside, the city goes on doing what cities do, living and moving and making noise. Completely indifferent and somehow, tonight, exactly right. I reach over and push the window open a little wider and the air comes in. And for the first time in a very long time, I don't feel like I'm waiting for the next thing to go wrong. I feel like someone who just started,